Well, that's fun. Looks like there is a 17-mile dry carry coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to have to try and position tonight to be set up for that as well as I can. Really nice spot, and I appreciate having the views and the stars, but it did get soaking wet in the middle of the night. Fortunately, I noticed and I put the fly on. Guess I should have figured it was going to be wet out here without the tree cover and everything. I've just been surprised lately, even a few times when I was down near water sources. It's actually been dry enough I could leave the fly off. Just watching the sun come up and listen to the hunting dogs off in the distance. As much as I was determined to get out really early this morning, just try and get a few miles ahead, everything is sopping wet, so I'm going to let the sun do its magic for a little while here. It's all well and good and, completely reasonable to say, hey, I'll just wait a little while and let everything dry. And then I remember I'm on that coast and things don't really dry that well out here. Still, this was a nice campsite, very different from where I've been, considering most of mine have been lost in the woods. While I was editing and drinking coffee this morning, I had cacophonies of dogs and the occasional gunshot off in the distance, presumably bear hunters. And now I am getting going for what I hope is a bit of an easier day. Other than noises in the distance from hunters, I haven't seen any sign of anybody else. The other campsite I'd looked at is that tree over there. The pond I went to last night is off to the left down in the trees. There are some additional campsites somewhere up towards that little saddle marked with another water source, but there was a note saying just go to the pond, it's a lot better. Food carries out here are always kind of a guessing game. When I went into the Smokies, I had extra because Jen had sent me a box, and whenever I can get those bean bags, I always carry some extra there. So I had enough extra food and a heavy enough pack, plus I was moving faster the Fontana Village Resort was a really expensive resupply. That when I planned this, I kind of assumed I would be moving a little faster. So I am getting to the point where I may have to do a night without a dinner. I basically have 50 miles to my resupply, and I have 2 backpacker meals and a moderate amount of snack food. So I'm not worried exactly, but I am concerned. We'll just have to see. I mean, I would be in a much different spot if I hadn't had that big climb yesterday. And once again, this isn't quite the middle of nowhere. Worst case, there are road crossings and campgrounds and things, so I could hitch out if it gets really dire. But at least for the moment, I am kind of wishing I had a bit more food. I also don't know what it is about this area, but there has been so much toilet paper. There was actually a pretty good site the other day near the Hangover, and giant pile of toilet paper right at the edge. Used toilet paper. And up at that meadow when I went off into the bushes this morning, I spent a while digging around until I found a cat hole spot I felt good about, but also just so much toilet paper spread around. I know some folks seem to think it just goes away like magic, like when you flush your toilet, but that stuff does not, trust me. It does seem like things are trending a bit cooler, but it has varied. Obviously, I went from like 1,600 feet back up to 5,000 something yesterday, so it's going to be a little cooler up here. But still, in general, I haven't been able to wear my fleece for any real length of time, and there are periods when I'm exposed to the sun where I am sweating like crazy and soaking my layers. I just appreciate that this time of year, like, things actually are drying out reasonably, if not quite as fast as I expect out west. So I am descending from whatever little mountain range this is. I do still have some climbs, but it at least looks like it's going to be a little less steep and a little less gain. So hopefully I can make up some miles the next 2 days, because like I said, after that I'm going to be a little short on food. But hey, if I can do 17, 18 miles today and tomorrow, that will make the fishing shop reachable that following day. They do offer camping there. They have some like some sort of a grill. I don't know what the hours are, and my reception here has been a bit limited. I kind of thought I would get there early enough in the day where I wasn't worried about it, but we'll see. And then after this, my food carries actually get easier. It was 90 some miles through the Smokies, and then 80 some miles through this section, and then it's like a 60 something and 50 something mile carry from Reliance to Blue Ridge and Blue Ridge to Springer. Granted, I did get warned that it is a little brushier between Reliance and Blue Ridge, so. But hey, Jen always sends me extra food, and I'm always reluctant to put it in the hiker box. That's always the thing when we're planning it. It's like, oh yeah, if you send a little extra and it's too much, I'll just leave it. But I hate wasting the money, so I usually just end up carrying a heavier pack for a couple of days. It kind of hurt the first day or two into the Smokies. I also haven't done an exhaustive look ahead, but it does look like the water situation is going to get better again for a while. And that was what one of the guys kind of mentioned. He had mentioned Unico being dry, which it was. And then there was some other section up ahead he said to kind of watch. He also said he had been leaving comments. I really feel like far out, their method of syncing doesn't always go through. Because I make comments offline quite a bit. And I'm actually reluctant sometimes to refresh comments. You can go into settings and individually say, give me waypoint updates, trail updates, and comment updates. And comment updates are usually the most important. I often have marginal internet out here, and whatever their refresh protocol is, it can get stuck part way, because I've had incomplete downloads, or I've had it where it wipes the old comments but can't get new comments down. And that can be problematic. It does seem like there are certain indicators of being, not as far off into the wilderness. Bigger packs, more weapons, things like that. It does also seem like the more hunters you have in the area, the more you have folks who are convinced that you need guns out here. The reasoning varies. I've heard people like telling me I was foolish for being out here because there were black bears and I needed to protect myself. Or they're worried about people. They're convinced there are, mysterious bad people hiding in the bushes. And I'm like, well, I was hiding in the bushes. I smell bad, but I don't think I'm that bad. I still distinctly remember a conversation I had in a church down in Florida where the pastor just could not believe I was out walking around and I didn't have a gun. He said he would never do that. Was like urging me to go get a weapon right away. And I will engage with people and tell them. I mean, I have had sketchy situations here and there, but those situations have de-escalated either by me talking or me leaving. And I really doubt me going all cowboy and running out there, shoving a gun in the people's faces that were trying to tip over that outhouse or this, that, or the other is going to help. Not to mention, once or twice, it's possible that the person hunting for me through the bushes was a police officer, and maybe not the best idea to pop out of the bush waving a gun at him. The best one was actually years ago. This was in my peak bagging days, and I was driving up to a trailhead in the Inyo Mountains, and there is a old mining town back there. In recent times, it was bought by some like millionaire, and it's currently being used as like some sort of a money-making fraud scheme, apparently. It's like ghost town living or something like that. There's a lot fishy about that channel. But anyway, in the olden days, I drove through there, and it's public access road, and some lights came on from the ghost town, or old mining town, I should say. And we went through, we parked at the trailhead, which was on, public land, etc. And this guy tore up in this little cart or something and started ranting at us about, you don't come up to a ghost town 10:30 at night, you can end up dead. You're lucky I'm talking to you instead of shooting you. And it was nuts, and I just did my normal thing. I started talking, which has a habit of either getting me into or out of trouble, depending on the situation. And I managed to turn him to things about the ghost town, and he settled down. As it turned out, before he had jumped in our face, he had dropped off a teenager with a rifle nearby who he later called out of the gloom. So that was fun. Again, probably would not have been helped by me pulling out a gun and shoving it in his face. Not to mention when hitchhiking and occasionally when having to, I don't know, approach BLM campers at night begging for water. You're kind of dependent on looking as non-threatening as you can, for being a not young looking bearded guy. So I pretty much always have these AirPods in. These are actually the new ones, the AirPod Pro 3s. And interestingly enough, I had gotten them because my 2s were pretty beat up. Anything with a rechargeable battery I use out here so much, it gets pretty degraded. And it went from me going, wow, this battery lasts really long, to me getting triggered by the low battery alert. The 3s are actually kind of cool. Not only do they block sound better, which big selling point for me, but the battery lasts basically my entire hiking day, it seems like. Plus side, the earbuds themselves seem to have a bigger battery, but the actual charger case, I suspect that went down since, obviously if the buds have a bigger battery, it's going to get drained faster, but it's significant compared with the 2s. Both Jen and I were skeptical of these things. I have a long history of not caring for Bluetooth devices just because I've had so many headsets and things like that with sync issues. But the whatever Magic Apple has done on the backside, having a vertical here, owning the device on both sides, these just work amazing. And even Jen, who is usually a lot more frugal when it comes to tech things than I am, has been majorly sold on them. They're about the only thing that makes habitation in campgrounds livable sometimes. Microphone's probably not picking it up, but there are hounds bellowing off in the distance. I use the microphone on the phone, not on the earbuds. But these days, everything does processing basically to make the voice pop, make things closer pop. That's why every now and then when you're on the phone, it'll sound like whoever you're talking to is right in the middle of something, and it turns out somebody just made noise across the street. I did spend a lot of time testing a lot of cheaper earbuds, sound cores, and I don't even know what else. And I probably wasted more money on those than I've spent on the Apple versions total, for what it's worth. Today is going massively faster than yesterday. Well, at least the first part of yesterday. So it looks like the biggest thing between me and my hopeful mileage for today is about a 1,500 foot climb, a descent, and then a 2,000 foot climb. Well, that's fun. Looks like there is a 17-mile dry carry coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to have to try and position tonight to be set up for that as well as I can. Okay, well, got that easy initial 10 miles out of the way. So now I can fully enjoy this first climb. I have a little while until the dry spot. I ideally need to stay before that, but relatively close. That way in the morning I can drink all my coffee and everything, get to that last fill up, chug about 3 liters, fill up fully, and then spend the day just booking it for the next known water source. All of which works out because, hey, if I don't push hard enough here, I kind of run out of food anyway, so it's all coming up me. Okay, so further complication, ran into somebody coming the other way. And while we were swapping data and such, he mentioned that there's supposed to be a thunderstorm coming in Sunday. So per him at the moment, it's supposed to rain from 4 in the morning until like noon. So that could complicate things a bit. Good for the water sources, but it doesn't help me on this dry section, though he did have some info on some marginal sources. Okay, 5 o'clock, almost done with the big climb. There is technically a few options for water up ahead, but I'm going to fill up now because I don't want to get into a situation like last night. I got to try and get as far as I can to make tomorrow doable. Okay, I did get 1 bar of internet. It has been really iffy lately. Does look like that guy was correct about the weather. I was not able to figure out how late Reliance is open on Sunday, and tried to send some messages to Blondie. Other than that, I am just trying to get as many miles down the ridge as I can right now. The last water is in 7 miles or so. I won't make it that far, but the closer I get to that, the easier time I'll have tomorrow, because I got to get to the other side of the dry stretch. I could really do with less berry brambles through here. My biggest worry isn't actually me bleeding, because, you know, not having fun until you're bleeding, but same time I'm worried about ripping my shirt. These Jolly Gear are not the most durable layer I own. Oh yeah, I actually forgot, but this is technically the halfway point of the trail right around here. Somebody said there was something painted on one of the rocks also, but no official signage. Okay, 7:20 headlamp came out. I am basically looking for the first unoccupied campsite. It is rather vegetated here, so hasn't been many options. Really does slow me down when I'm out after dark. If the terrain's reasonable, it's not too bad, you know, see all the Kansas stuff, but with all the rocks and the slopes here, I am approaching a marked campsite. However, since I am ready to stop, I'm kind of afraid I'm going to come around the corner and see somebody else set up there. That would seem to fit with my luck. Okay, nobody home. No dead trees. If unknown I was coming here, I could have filtered water here, but oh well. Okay, not quite as nice and memorable as last night, but I will take it. I managed to make it 20 miles. Today was mostly all about setting me up for tomorrow, and if I make it through tomorrow with a similar day, I will be within range of getting to my resupply without running out of food, which, you know, end of the day, it's about all you can ask for out here, right? Home sweet home. Sadly, I am out of beans and rice for the moment, so I had to grab these. The Indian ones are usually pretty good. The biggest annoyance with these is just how long they take, because you got to wait about 15 minutes. The beans and rice make up really quick.